welcome to Hideaway Doors. I'm Chris.
And I'm Dion.
And today we're going to show you how to install a double bookcase door. Now, when your door arrives, you want to uncrate it and set it up so that the top is ready to slide into the opening so you don't have to turn it. Some of the doors come with these little sticks nailed to the sides of the jambs. You want to pull that off and pull all the little nails out before you install your door.
Okay, now we're ready to install our door. It's always good to have some help, especially with the double doors.
Now, as we got the door installed, the first thing we noticed is that this side doesn't open up properly, it snags on the floor. So what we want to do is take a level and check to see if there's any humps in the floor if it's out of level. And this shows that this side can come up a little bit. So what we want to do to make that threshold level is shim behind the door to bring it back up so it's level across the bottom of the threshold. Now we determined that the floor is about 1/4 inch off. We have this piece of thin plywood, it's about 1/4 inch thick, so we're going to use this as a shim underneath the threshold. So we put our shim at the bottom of the threshold, making that threshold completely level across. Now our door will open up properly. And it's important not to let go of the door because it's not fastened in the opening just yet. So now we can see that the door operates better. It doesn't hang on the floor because the bottom of the threshold is now level.
Okay, if in fact your floor is level from left to right, it may be out of level from front to back, where the door swings to a 90. Or if you have tall carpet, it might also hinder this from opening. You can grab that same piece of plywood, the 1/4 inch shim that we put under the threshold, and you can put it down here and use an oscillating saw and cut a 1/4 inch off the bottom of your trim, or whatever you may need if you have tall carpet.
Okay, the next thing you want to do is check, make sure that you cut off enough off of the bottoms so that the door opens. Okay, looks like it's going to work.
Okay, the next step is to shim and level up the door.
Now, I'm taking a 4-foot level and I'm leveling down this case molding. Dion's in the back of the door and he's shimming it to make sure that this is plumb. When we achieve where we want to go, test the door, open it, make sure it doesn't drag on anything, and check at the top. We call that a reveal and make sure everything's even. Okay, after your door is all shimmed up where it's got to go, the outswing doors you want to open up to roughly about 45 degrees, which will expose this small space where you can pre-drill with an 1/8 inch bit and take one of the fasteners, a screw, and screw it into the jamb right about in the area that you shimmed from behind. And after you have your shims and your fasteners in the top, about 6 inches down from the top, when you're fastening one side, make sure it doesn't pull the door out of square or out of level. And then you'll do the same thing, coming 6 inches off the ground on both sides, shim it and make sure it stays where it's got to go when you fasten it, and do the same about the center. After all that's been adjusted, you make sure your door opens properly. And then the last thing to do is put the mechanical latch on the bottom, which will hold the door in shut position.
Okay, so we've got our double door installed, square, level. operating properly. Now it's time for the latch. I'm going to show you how this goes together and where it goes. Okay, in your latch kit you'll see a bracket, a threaded bolt, and 2 nuts. You're going to go ahead and put one of the nuts on the bolt, screw it on down fairly close to the bottom, and then one part of the bracket has threads on it. You'll screw the bolt into the bracket, and then when it comes up just enough, you can go ahead and start your other nut and put that on there. So your end result, you want to have a nut on the top and a nut on the bottom. This is for when you finally get it the right tension and adjustment for the door to latch. You can tighten the 2 against each other and that'll hold it in place. Now that we have our threaded bolt and the 2 nuts on our bracket, we're going to mount this to the bottom of the bookcase. You're going to come over 1.5 inches from the back side of that inner piece of trim. So you'll mark 1.5 inches. Then you'll take this and mount it flush with the bottom, and the 1.5 inches is going to be on this side. So you'll mount it there, flush with the bottom. Now that our bracket is mounted to our bookcase and is secure, flush with the bottom, we can go ahead and install our plastic ramp latch to our threshold. Now we can mount our plastic ramp to our threshold. This plastic ramp has a little recessed circle to receive the bottom of the head of the bolt. You're going to want the high part and then slope down to the front of the threshold on this ramp. So I went ahead and adjusted our screw, and the easiest way to do this is open your door, put that in that little recessed hole, and slide your door back against the threshold. Okay, so now that our door is back against the threshold, there's a little bit of play in this plastic piece. So what I like to do is slide it back until it stops, and that'll help keep that against the threshold. Then you want to take a square and square your piece, and then we'll make a couple light marks around the plastic piece. And then we're going to slide the door out. And on the back side of our plastic piece, there is adhesive with like double stick tape. So you're going to peel that, and you're going to line it up with your marks. Press down firmly. Then we'll test our door. Perfect. Bring our door back out. You're going to take the screw and screw down into your threshold. Then you're going to tighten your bolts. And that is how you install a latch. Okay, this completes the last step of the double door installation. But let's go ahead and test them from the outside. Okay, perfect. Alright, there's the double doors, and I hope this was a big help, and thank you for watching.